Yo, what is going on, guys? Alright, this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. The ugly truth of being shredded. There's definitely a dark side to having really low body fat, getting to 5, 6, 7% body fat. And it's kind of a rite of passage where every single year, at least one time a year, obviously during the summertime, I try to get as shredded as possible. I think I've reached the minimum 7% body fat just about every single summer for at least a couple weeks. So I just want to talk about the dark side of getting shredded, because I know I have a ton of videos on getting shredded. I try to make it sound awesome and epic, and I feel like I just want to be transparent and kind of give you guys a realistic picture of what to expect, because I know, for instance, the Mr. Olympia competition is coming up in a couple weeks. You guys are following probably different bodybuilders and fitness personalities on Instagram who are just getting an incredible conditioning right now, and I know what they're going through. And it's definitely not all that it's cracked up to be sometimes, so let's get into the ugly truth to being shredded. So the first ugly truth of being shredded is you guys are gonna have to diet for a fairly long time to get very, very lean. Now, I'm talking about 6, 7% body fat is something completely different than 10 or 11% body fat, and you could have pretty chiseled six-pack abs at 10 to 11% body fat, but to get that world-class conditioning, you guys are gonna be on a very low calorie count for at least 8 to 12 weeks. So for me personally, I'm at like 2,000 to 2,300 calories for about 8 straight weeks to get really, really shredded. And what comes with this is you get to the point where you just are always hungry. So I've had to do a lot of different tricks and tactics, like I do apple cider vinegar, I drink a lot of coffee, and as you start getting leaner and leaner, your body's gonna kind of fight and try to go against it. Your body is a survival machine, so your body wants to pack on body fat out of survival. When you're getting really lean, you're kind of signaling to your body like something is going wrong and you're basically starving to death, at least your body thinks so. So you have to do lots of different tactics like carbonated water, drinking coffee. I started taking just pre-workout just to kind of get through the day and ward off different hunger cravings that I had and to just have a lot of energy. So the reality is, yeah, you are going to be hungry, but there are tactics that you can do to kind of counteract that. So before I get back into the content, real quick, I got the pre-workout samples. They finally arrived. So we got sour gummy worm, we got cotton candy, and we have two different versions, version A and version B. So I'm gonna pick 20 of the YouTube comments from the video a couple weeks ago to beta test it. So if you guys applied, definitely check your DMs on Instagram. I'm gonna DM 20 of you guys, and you're gonna get version A and version B, and I've tried both of them. And it's incredible, it tastes amazing. I cannot wait to release this and get you guys feedback. And this pre-workout, there is no formula on the planet that has our exact ingredient profile. It's maximum dose, 7 grams citrulline, 3.2 grams beta-alanine, and a ton of other ingredients listed. So these are the official beta samples of Superhuman pre-workout. So that's sour gummy. We got the cotton candy ones right here. And then we even got a few samples right here. These are the really, really strong ones. These have like four different energy boosters, just maximum dose right here. So we're gonna try a couple of these as well. And I'm really excited to launch it and have you guys be a part of the process, but let's dive right back into the content. So next up is just kind of the mental side of it. You will have some mood swings. Like, I don't know anybody who is kind of hungry off and on all day for a couple straight months that doesn't battle mood swings. So I know just like little things would start to bother me a lot more. I'm sure Kitty Gaines can attest to that. So just like little things will bother you more than usual. Like if maybe somebody just kind of like says something that upsets you, you're gonna tend to snap a lot easier just because you're hungry, you have low body fat. And another thing too, and this is kind of to a certain point, is when you get to, I think, 7 to 8% body fat, compared to when you were maybe 13 or 14% body fat, you're probably gonna have much higher testosterone levels. So I know for me, on top of being hungry and kind of more irritable, you have higher testosterone levels. So you just kind of wanna like punch someone in the face when they piss you off, because not only are you irritable, you just have more testosterone in your bloodstream. So I know to a certain point, obviously if you diet down to extreme levels and are like 4 or 5% body fat, you actually may lower your testosterone. But it is proven that I think around 7-8% body fat compared to maybe when you're 14-15% body fat, you will have more testosterone in your bloodstream. But the mood swings are no joke. I had to really kind of like mentally talk myself into different situations and just tell myself that I'm just more irritable because I'm dieting, and to kind of take things a little bit easier. So the mood swings are definitely not a fun thing. So next up, you will have the most incredible cravings that you've ever had in your life, especially at night. I remember just like going to bed, and I would be so excited just to get up the next day so I could eat again. Like I'd have my calories, I tracked my calories every single day, and what did I use? I think I was using like Trello on my phone and on my computer, little like project management apps. So I'd like write down all my meals, I would write down my calories, and then all of a sudden I'd be at like 2,100, and I'd be like, all right, I cannot eat until tomorrow. And I would go to bed just like thinking about food, just like dreaming about like oatmeal with a little bit of almond butter. So like literally the stuff that you would normally think is like healthy and taste maybe somewhat okay, like average, like something like oatmeal with some fruit and some almond butter, all of a sudden will turn into ice cream, because like eating that was like the most enjoyable thing I ate in my diet when I was really getting lean. So you're gonna have crazy cravings. Like if you're watching TV and Cupcake Wars comes on and you already hit your macros for the day and it's 10:30 at night, you're just gonna roll around in your bed and you're gonna think about food, and it is not an enjoyable thing. So I caught myself like thinking about Oreos and frozen yogurt, just like dreaming about how cool it would be to enjoy these foods. So that is one downside, is you really gotta mentally talk yourself out of these different cravings. And I was pretty good. I'd say about 90-95% of the time I was able to kind of not succumb to my cravings, I guess you'd say. But you really can't keep junk food at your house as well, because anytime that I had peanut butter and like different high calorie foods, if I had chocolate or gummy bears or any of these type of foods, if I had them at my house in the middle of my dieting, it would just be so hard to resist them. So you really just can't keep like junk food at your house. If you're going out to eat, it becomes really tough if everyone around you is also eating junk food. So it can also become kind of a liability on you socially. And going out to eat is a pain in the ass as well, because I had to tell them like no oil. If I'm at a sushi spot, I'm kind of like, gets a little difficult to track your macros if you just get like some happy hour rolls and they give you a little bit of sauce. You don't know exactly how they prepare the food. So counting calories when you are out kind of becomes mentally and physically stressing, because like they probably add a little bit of oil, a little bit of sugar and salt that you're really not aware of. So that's another thing. It's just like if you're at a group function, it's like somebody's birthday party, you're like, I remember one time I was at a group function, there was like 15 people all seated here. It was like someone's birthday party, and I'm like trying to order like, you know, grilled chicken and like vegetables, and I'm telling them like light oil and like no rice, no bread, no pasta or anything, and it just kind of like makes you stand out. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just one thing that a lot of people may not like about getting really shredded. So another thing is you're definitely not going to be making strength gains, and you definitely won't be making lean muscle gains. So I do believe that you can burn body fat and gain muscle in the same day if you have your carbohydrate timing right, your training intensity is on point, and kind of everything across the board like recovery and all the X factors are on point. But this is to a certain point. If you guys want to get to say 6-7% body fat, you're not going to be gaining lean muscle mass from the point when you're at 10% body fat to say 6% body fat. And the number one thing is training kind of gets frustrating, because you're going to kind of compare this, like if I'm doing squats, for instance, and I was normally doing like 315 for like 8 reps, and all of a sudden dieting down, I'm struggling to do like 4 or 5 reps. So it kind of becomes a mental thing where your strength is going down, and you kind of lose excitement to go in the gym just because you're not making that fast progress. Like I know I'm really excited to start this lean bulk, because I'm gonna go in the gym every single week, and hopefully I'm getting 5 to 10 pounds stronger on all my compound lifts. That actually builds a lot of momentum, builds a lot of excitement. So I definitely think that I've lost size this summer just staying like super lean for a long stretch of time. and that is one downside. So don't expect to make strength gains. Don't expect to gain a lot of lean muscle mass. So if you're trying to say bring up your arms, bring up your chest, bring up a legging muscle group, it is definitely not the right time to get really shredded. So another reality about getting really shredded is your best friend will become vegetables and high volume foods. So if you don't like vegetables, it's going to be really tough getting to 6, 7, 8% body fat just because you're not gonna have enough volume in your diet. So I was literally eating like a pound and a half of broccoli, and I would go to Whole Foods, I would get these big raw spinach salads. If you guys remember, at the start of the summer, I was always going to Whole Foods and I was meal prepping and I would get those little containers of all those greens. So if you don't like vegetables, it is going to be incredibly difficult because vegetables are the #1 thing that's gonna counteract that hunger. So I know like my best friends when I was on my intense shredding diet were vegetables and it was stimulants, because without those two things, so the vegetables kept me full and kept my calories down, gave me a lot of volume on my diet. And then the stimulants actually gave me energy, allowed me to basically function off of them because I didn't have enough calories in my system because I was probably on like 1,000 calorie per day deficit. So I definitely was pumping a lot of coffee, a lot of pre-workout, a lot of different stimulants into my system. Not saying that this is a healthy thing by any means, but you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who is getting super shredded, who's not taking pre-workout, drinking a lot of coffee, or taking some type of stimulant. So I really think that the combination of vegetables and stimulants is going to make it so much easier, and it's not fun if you don't like vegetables, and it's not necessarily that healthy long term to be pumping stimulants in your body on that caloric deficit. So that is another ugly truth to being shredded. And then another thing is some people, not necessarily myself so much, but I did notice a few days, is you're gonna deal with being really lethargic and low on energy. So one thing I actually did notice is when I made the transition from say getting from 12% to 8% body fat in about a 5-week stretch, I had more energy when I was around 8% body fat, I think just because my body wasn't constantly digesting food. But then once you get to say 8 to maybe 6% body fat, that transition right there takes a lot out of your body. So in that time when you're getting super shredded, like all the people competing in Mr. Olympia, these next 2 to 3 weeks are definitely the toughest on them because your body does not want to be that lean. Like I said, your body is an adaptation survival machine. And when you get to 5-6% body fat, you are just screaming to your body that you are starving to death, literally. So I know a lot of people start battling feeling lethargic and not having much energy, even around like 9-10% body fat. So everyone kind of reacts differently to it. Fortunately for me, I'm not one of those people, but there's a 50-60% chance that you could be one of those people where you start having really low energy, and then once again, you're gonna have to rely on a lot of coffee, on a lot of stimulants, on different energy drinks. And over the course of say 2 to 3 months, that's not necessarily a really good thing because you're gonna have a lot of cortisol in your system, and it becomes very important to take things like ZMA, to take a lot of vitamin C, to have lots of vegetables in your diet, to have lots of anti-cortisol built in, maybe meditate, maybe take a nap every single day. So very important to relax your body and not let that cortisol get out of hand. So this has been the ugly truth of being shredded. So I just want to paint you guys a realistic picture. And on the flip side, I love getting shredded. I think it's epic. There's something really exhilarating and exciting about it, just knowing that you're gonna be super ripped and have like world-class conditioning. You're gonna go to pool parties, you're gonna go on vacations, you're gonna be at the beach, and you're just gonna absolutely love the way that you look. So there are a lot of benefits, there are a lot of positives, and also I think it's something that you guys just gotta try like once a year. It's something that can really help you mentally as well as physically, just knowing that you can battle adversity and stick with one goal for 8 to 12 weeks, even though it is not an easy goal to achieve. So Hopefully I didn't like demotivate anybody from trying to get shredded. I just wanted to give you guys a realistic picture, because sometimes it's really interesting, and I think it's very helpful to look at the other side of it, not just to look at the benefits, but to also look at the negatives, so you guys have a great idea of what to expect if you do want to go for that 6 to 8% body fat. So if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give this video a big thumbs up. And if you guys have been subscribers for a while, you already know I will have another video for you in 1 to 2 days.